Florence ADX, the highest security prison in the nation. The world's most dangerous and notorious criminals like El Chapo, the Boston and World Trade Center bombers are all locked up here. But a criminal investigation into the Florence city manager that started just a few miles away reveals federal officials overseeing the budget for the Supermax may not be watching closely enough.
Nobody really understands what I did.
Former Florence city manager Mike Patterson didn't know he was being recorded on September 1st, 2021.
Legally, under federal law, they're not supposed to agree to that.
It was the night after the city council fired him for sexually harassing his employees for years.
The problem is we have council members who don't even understand. They're so foolish.
When talking to one of his accusers on a recorded police line, Patterson revealed a secret about the Prison Valley city he managed for a decade.
When I came there, Florence was losing $600,000, $500 and some thousand dollars a year in water because the feds had cut their water consumption down. So you know what we did? You know how it works in water? What I got them to agree to.
He got the Bureau of Prisons to agree to pay more than any other customer for water.
They're paying an extra $28 a month times 2,100 people or whatever it is. It's $600,000 a year.
Patterson says it was never his job to approve the legality of Florence's federal prison water contract, but he sure talked about its legality unknowingly on this police-recorded phone call.
Legally, under federal law, they're not supposed to agree to that. They're supposed to pay the same rates.
13 Investigates did the math to figure out what he's talking about. This is the city of Florence's March 2021 water bill for the prison complex. It shows the federal government paid a total of $132,451 for water and the city's water plant debt. Despite the city's contract with the feds that says they cannot pay higher rates for service than others, the city of Florence is charging the federal government 0.4 cents more per gallon of water compared to the city's highest public rates. Now, that may not seem like a lot until you factor in that the federal prisons used 9.3 million gallons in March 2021. That totals to an upcharge of $37,000 for just 1 month. If you project that over the 10-year span of the contract, you would see the federal prison system paying an extra $4.5 million. Now, former city manager Mike Patterson declined to interview with 13 Investigates, but he did tell us to even imply that he did something wrong or took advantage of the Bureau of Prisons was ridiculous and frankly insulting. He says he got the feds to agree to the higher rates by convincing them that the water plant for the city was solely built for the prisons, all in an effort to avoid passing the buck to Florence residents. But another former manager, Tom Piltonsgrud, who applied for the city's water plant loans in 2003, says the inflated rates are because the prisons use more gallons of water than any other customer. So we asked the Bureau of Prisons why it's paying millions more of our tax dollars to a city repeatedly accused of mismanaging money. They had no comment, but say they are looking into it. Earlier this year, the Government Accountability Office put the Bureau of Prisons on a high-risk list for fraud, waste, and abuse, saying the Bureau of Prisons is, quote, not always demonstrated sound resource stewardship. But FBI agents were first alerted of this alleged overbilling scheme last spring, after the historic resignation of the entire Florence City Council. The FBI launched an investigation after our reporting highlighted missing taxpayer money tied to interest-free loans from the city's budget, taken out by former Florence City executives for personal use. Several former employees also allege they were directed to take off fraudulent sick time during the pandemic to use federal money to pad the city's budget. Former court clerk Nicole Phillips gave the FBI these phone recordings capturing conversations about prison billing inside City Hall.
It's so stressful and we're trying to figure out what the hell this is.
She's talking about how the billing works for water with the prisons back in 2020. The city's finance director, Lori Cobbler, didn't negotiate the deal.
It doesn't make sense.
But Cobbler did understand the importance of the prison water billing.
That bill pays a lot of our expenses all month. Right.
Now, the former employees who blew the whistle are still trying to get help from the federal government. They say it's not hard for the feds to find the answers if they want them.
Nobody really understands what I did.
It's all in the city's own records, like a tape that's collecting dust inside the Florence Police Department, just miles away from the federal prisons.
So foolish.
Reporting in Florence, Chelsea Brensel, 13 Investigates.